Hello, everyone. So last night's video was a little choppy, and I fixed a setting. It may just be that the power was way too strong, and it blasted the network. But are you guys seeing me okay? Do I look clear? Please let me know. I look clear. Awesome. Yeah, last night's video was it was peculiar because that's never happened before. Um, But what's important is the message, which is why I left it on there, even though my Virgo self wanted to delete it because Virgos are very detail oriented. We're very meticulous. But I did fix a little setting on YouTube where you can adjust how fast you want the stream to go. And if you slow it down, then your face is going to be clearer. You guys, I just received a thought packet, a download. I call it catching a butterfly. I just caught a butterfly. And I decided, why not jump on with my YouTube family and unpack it with you and see where it takes us. But I thought it was really cool. And I think I alluded to it maybe 6 months ago on a YouTube video, but I never embellished upon it. So tonight, I'm going to elaborate on this download. It's all going to be about frequency and the speed of frequency as it relates to your manifestation process. So let's give it one more minute, wait for people to arrive. And I know it's very late in New York. It's 12:30 a.m., but there are people from, I believe, Australia here. Where are you guys from? Thank you, Norma. I appreciate you. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you. Thank you. New York City. New York City's in the house. Great. Woo! Okay. I love it. India's in the house. Washington, Ohio, Australia, New Zealand, Alabama. A donation. Thank you. Thank you, Nazia. And thank you for the 2222. That's my favorite number, angel number. Canada, Vegas, Montreal, my city, my hometown. Nevada. Wow, you guys. The feed is blowing up right now. So you may want to grab a notepad because I have a feeling that we're going to get into a bit of a a breakdown here with the information that I've been receiving. Hi, Nadine. People from my hometown are in the house. BC's in the house too. Aloha. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you so much. Colorado, Santa Cruz, New York. All right, awesome. So we have close to 400 people in the house. And so why not just begin? And whoever wants to join is free to join. So, all right. So I'm sharing this like I'm thinking out loud right now, right? I just received this this beautiful packet of information. And what it corresponded to was how different frequencies have different speeds. And we already know this, right? Your chakra wheels can spin slow, your chakra wheels can spin fast, and it's all determined by your vibrational frequency as a whole. So what I was seeing is that the reason why we needed, as creators, as creator beings who constructed this reality, the reason why we needed to design it or craft it in such a way where lower frequencies vibrate slower and higher frequencies vibrate higher is because we understood that if they all vibrated at the same rate, then we'd be in deep, deep trouble. So let me explain. If I had the ability to instantaneously manifest through a thought, and a thought is a frequency, then every time I had a negative thought directed at someone, like, oh, I wish this person would just die. Well, I never actually have those thoughts. I'm just saying, I'm going to the worst case scenario. A lot of us have thoughts like, oh, I wish you would just get run over by a truck right now. Then that would happen. Okay, so if you had a thought about yourself, like, oh, I wish I just wasn't alive anymore, it's too hard, boop, you disappear. So the reason why we had to section it off, like I'm going to have a section for that lower frequency bandwidth, and then I'm going to have a mid range for that higher frequency bandwidth, and then I'm going to go even higher into the higher frequencies. This would allow us to make this game very real. So it's a very real game. If you have a thought such as, I hate my boss, I wish he'd die, then he would die on the spot. Not necessarily because there is a free will experiment. It's more so about yourself. I wish I would die, boop, you'd disappear. You'd vanish into thin air. Or if you had a thought such as, I wish I was a millionaire, well, that thought has just been created by you. So in the hyperspace, you are a millionaire. But the thing is, you're wishing for something that you're not. So technically speaking, your body isn't vibrating at the level of a millionaire. Otherwise, you would be a millionaire. So what would happen is your body would start to undergo an acclimation period or an adjustment period where it would start to entrain with those higher frequencies of the millionaire. So your DNA would start to respond to your wish, right? Your universe says, your wish is my command. Your universe would conspire in making that happen for you. But then you would have to proactively work towards upping your vibration. So I was thinking, like, the lower that we vibrate, the slower everything is. And I've said this before. So if you hate a job, if you're not grateful for your job, if you're not appreciative that you're making money, then you're vibrating at a lower rate. And what does this mean for you? It means that it's going to take a very long time for you to exit that situation. Because the frequency that you're carrying that is causing your chakra wheels to spin slower is going to entrench you in that game. And everything within that game is going to be slow motion. And so the job is going to be a match, or everything that you attract is going to be a match to the frequency that you're carrying within your vibratory field. Okay? So you're going to have to be there as long as you need to be there until you bring resolution to that frequency that you are carrying within your system. Until you transmute it or get rid of it altogether. Until you transcend it. Until you deal with it. Because we are responsible for everything that is in our field of resonance, meaning your energetic field. You're responsible for all of it. If you don't want to be responsible for everything that is yours, then what's going to happen is someone else is going to pick up your slack for you. You might live with your mom. She's going to give you a roof over your head, but you'll never really know what it is to be an autonomous being of light. You'll never really know what that is. So accountability is a huge piece, because accountability is stepping into the responsibility that everything that's showing up in your personalized hologram is yours. And when you do that, that is the first step in rectifying that energy. It is the first step in correcting your field. So you are a divine being of love and light. Divine, universal being of love and light, universal being of frequency. So you have nothing to fix because you already are divine. However, you're in a reality where you adopted and accepted a lot of other people's programming. And that programming became your own because you picked it up. You scooped it up and you said, ooh, yeah, I think I'm going to be this person now. Or, ooh, this person hurt me and now I'm going to hold a grudge. So you accepted all these different programs. They were also generationally passed down to you by your father, by your mom, by your ancestors. So if your father had a hang up around money and was always pinching pennies, penny, 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 I don't want to spend my money. I'm not going to give you money. I'm too afraid of the money. If your father was too afraid of money, well, what happened is you inherited that fear. You inherited that frequency. So you can go on your entire life blaming your father for not resolving that. Or you can say, I'm going to take accountability because if it's my father's and I've inherited, well, it's mine. And if this is my mom's, and if this is my sister's, and if this is from the schooling system, and if this is from this friend, then if I've accepted it, then it's mine. You cannot adopt a dog and just say it's not mine anymore. You've adopted that belief system. That's a metaphor. You're adopting a dog, it becomes yours. You're adopting a belief system, it becomes yours. You're adopting a limitation, it becomes yours. The second that you say, I'm now ready to take full responsibility for what's showing up in my field every day, because it will show up in your field every day, because as long as you're carrying that frequency, it's going to be mirrored back to you. That's law of attraction. So now that I'm ready, I can now bring resolution to that frequency. I can work out those kinks. They're kinks. So we had to architect this reality in such a way where the lower frequency would vibrate slower. And I'm not talking about the frequency in the field. I'm talking about your body. So if your body is anchored in polarity, in duality, in fear, in blame, in shame, in guilt, in inadequacy, in lack of self-confidence, lack, and the list goes on. If your body is rooted in that, meaning that you've accepted all these programs, well, that has caused your vibration to plummet. So your physical body, think of when you eat junk food. If you eat junk food 24/7, you're going to gain weight, you're going to feel heavier. And I think that's a good metaphor for frequency. Same thing. If you ingest lower vibrational frequency, what's being imposed on you, what you feel like you have to do in order to be productive, and all these things, if you ingest that energy is going to be like food. So you're going to start to get heavy energetically. All right. So just know, I'm just speaking out loud right now. This is how I process downloads. But I decided to do it alongside you guys tonight. So you have this lower frequency. That lower frequency is going to bring back its match every single time, because you're going to constantly draw evidence of the frequency that you're indwelling. You're going to constantly draw evidence in physical form of the frequency that you are indwelling, meaning the frequency that you're occupying. All right? The higher you go in frequency, and again, I'm talking about your physicality, your body, the higher you go, meaning that you've learned how to sit with your emotions for a while, you've learned how to not look for things outside of you in order to fill a void, you've learned how to not pick up your phone and talk to your friends about everything and divulge and regurgitate everything that's going on in your life. I call it loose vomit. You're just vomiting, and it doesn't do anything, because eventually you're going to have to revisit that and not vomit. Okay? So the thing is, right, we get ourselves in these cycles, and they're like perpetual cycles. It's like being on a carousel, and you're going round and around and around. And every time something happens to you, every time you find out someone got married and you pick up your phone and you're like, Mom, I don't understand. Why is everyone around me getting married? When am I going to get married? All you're doing is loose vomit. That's not going to fix your situation. All it's going to do is keep you in that third dimensional reality. It's going to keep you in that same perpetual cycle, which is going to preclude you, it's going to block you from attracting that higher dimensional experience, because your frequency doesn't lie. You are a creator of this reality. So you designed this game. So when you designed this game, you knew that if you got lost in the game, things would only get worse until you could pull yourself out of that. That's how we designed it. So when we have negative emotions, those negative emotions are signaling you, they are alerting you that you're not in alignment with your higher self, with your divinity. I call it the original self, that you're not aligned with your original self. And I heard a channeler use that once and it really, really landed. Your original self. So if you have negative emotions, those negative emotions are not sending you to detention and saying your life is awful and things are not going to get better. Those negative emotions are energy in motion, alerting you that you've done something to pop out of your alignment. And we decided to have this navigational system. It's like a GPS that's built into our structure, meaning your GPS is connected to all your guides, all of your angels, all of your other aspects, meaning your other dimensional selves. I call them parallel selves, to your guidance system. It's a guidance system that's built in within you. And every time you would have negative emotions, that would be your indicator that you're no longer in alignment with your original self. Unless you feel that pain, how can you know that you've gone off the beaten path? You can't. How can you know that you have cancer if you don't go get a checkup? You can't. Same thing with emotions. How can you know you're not headed in the right direction, even though there is no right or wrong, but there is. The right means you're in alignment with your higher self, okay? How can you know that you're going the right direction if your emotions aren't signaling you? You can't. You would never know that you need to make that course correction and make an adjustment. And these adjustments are not hard to make. They're usually minimal. They're tiny. But the thing is, they're tiny, but they can really wobble you out of alignment. So the higher that you vibrate within your body, meaning that it's not just about your consciousness, it's about your physical structure. The higher that you vibrate, the faster you manifest. So we set it up in such a way that the higher that we would vibrate, meaning the closer we got to that source of light from within, the more that we became that, the more that we merged with that, the more that we reunited with who we are, with who we always were, with our native frequency, the faster we would manifest. Think of all the times where you had a really fun day and you're like, where did the time go? It just flew by. That's because your body was operating from a place of joy. And within this construct of time, because you weren't operating within time, you were operating with outside of time in those higher emotions of joy, happiness, excitement, elation, enthusiasm, all these things. Because you weren't operating within time, the day flew by. When you hate your job, the day's very slow. You're like, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. When am I going to get home? That's because that job is necessitated, meaning it is required for you to have that job in order for you to see that you're still carrying fear within your body. That fear is causing you to vibrate at a slower speed. So the job is a perfect match to where you're vibrating. The job can be your greatest teacher. It can reflect to you what you need to work on in order to bring resolution to that frequency. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I'm vibrating high. Why hasn't it happened yet? All right, so here's a metaphor for you. A 5-year-old girl can want to grow boobs, but it's not going to happen until she grows up. A little boy can want to grow up and be a man, but guess what? You still have to go through puberty because you're in a physical reality. And things in physicality take a while to come to fruition. They don't happen overnight. Now I'm going to take it one notch up, okay? When you vibrate, when your body vibrates outside of time, meaning that it is no longer vibrating within those lower echelons of reality, within those lower vibrational ranges, you would never ask something like, why hasn't this happened yet? That question alone stems from a program that is keeping you physically and materially focused, which means that you haven't really exited 3D yet. Because manifestation looks vastly different when you're operating within a third dimensional structure from when you're operating within a fifth dimensional structure. When you're operating within a fifth dimensional structure, your manifestation isn't about what you acquire, it's about how you feel. I'm getting something. Some people, woo, I love this. Why? Okay. Some people want to manifest in order to feel joy. Some people feel joy and they manifest. As a result of feeling joy. So the thing is, right? Let me just repeat that so I can register it. Some people want to manifest to feel joy, and some people manifest because they feel joy. So, which category do you fall under? Because I know for me, there are still things that I'd like to experience physically, tangibly. I would like to have love in my life, but I don't need to have love in my life. And also, there's a time and place for everything. And a lot of those reasons aren't always understood or comprehended by the human mind, by the mental body, by that third dimensional mindset. They're not always understood. Your twin flame may not be ready for you. What you desire can only be experienced with another, meaning that we're creating with this physical realm. In the non-physical realm, we can snap our finger and blop, all these unicorns pop up, okay? In the non-physical realms, you can beam lasers out of your eyes. You can do anything you want because there's no lag. There's no delay effect because you're not in physicality. Now, what's coming to me now is the physical plane of existence, this earthly plane. We descended upon it, so it was denser. So in and of itself, it is a frequency, meaning that we came from those higher frequencies where we didn't even need bodies. And in order to have a physical human experience, we needed to descend through time and space, descend through time and space, descend through time and space. And we landed on this density. So this earthly plane is already at a lower frequency. And because you're in a physical plane of existence, everything is a co-creative effort. If you want love, there has to be another person in it with you. So the thing is, you might be there vibrationally and you're not doing anything wrong. So I do want to reinforce that and emphasize that it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong if what you desire hasn't become manifest yet at all. Okay? That's misinformation. That's not true. You're not doing anything wrong if you haven't manifested what you desire. But again, you're in an earthly plane of existence and your lover may not be ready for you. It could also be that maybe you need to exercise more patience. So that you're vibrating at a fifth dimensional frequency, but your body is vibrating at a fourth dimensional frequency, and it still has kinks to work out. And you asking the question, why hasn't this happened, would be a confirmation that you still have stuff to deal with. Because I'm telling you, when your physical structure is oscillating at that higher frequency bandwidth, You don't care about physical things anymore. You're on to the next creation and the next creation and the next creation. Everything you do is like a baby that you're popping out into the world, that you're giving birth to. And the download I got this morning was every creation has to find its creator, has to return back to its creator. So someone asked me today, how is it that you give so much, Phil? I'm like, because everything I give is like, they're like these little beings. They have their own consciousness. And I'm dispersing that energy just like God dispersed itself. And we became aspects of God. Everything that we learn pings back to God. It's like a feeding system. So everything that I create, right, through my original unique DNA structure, through my own unique vibrational blueprint, is like a little baby that I'm popping out into the ethers or into the world. And everything that it does is going to return to me because I gave it life. So we're all creator beings. There's God, the creator. God sought to experience itself, and so it dispersed itself. Pow! And we all came alive. We are aspects of God, but everything that we learn goes back to God. But God gave you the gift of being a creator. So you're a creator. And everything that you spit out, everything that you speak, everything that you broadcast is like you giving life to thousands of aspects. And these thousands of aspects are like little babies that you've just birthed into reality. They're energies, right? They're energies. And everything that they achieve is going to return to you. They're going to send you information. You get it? So sometimes people ask me, why do you still do one-on-one sessions? Instead of just logging on right now, we have 745 people on this YouTube live. Why is it that you do one-on-one sessions when you can reach 745 people? Because I don't view it that way. If I help one person at a personal level and we go really deep, I know that that person's going to reach 745 people. So it's still a creation. They're going to affect their lives. They're going to impact their lives. And because I was part of that creation, everything that gets created is going to return to me. That's how it works. So that's what I mean when I say that within a fifth dimensional framework, you don't look for physical things because you're constantly being gifted. Every day is like Christmas. Woo! Raining blessings on me. It's like there's a huge purple cloud and blessings are raining upon you. Why do you think it takes so long for people in abusive or narcissistic relationships or dysfunctional relationships to get out of them? Because they're lacking something from within, self-worth or whatever it is. They think that they're a bad person and they stay in it and they accept this abuse. And because they're still holding that frequency, which vibrates slower, it spins slower, that situation is a match to that slowness. So it takes a very long time for them to get out of it. Because as long as they're holding on to that frequency, they're going to be trapped in that relationship for a really long time. They don't have to be, but the thing is, there's stuff that they have to work out. And once they graduate into that next level, then they start to vibrate higher. And they attract something else that then mirrors back to them what they need to now bring resolution to. And then once they nip that lesson, they move on to the next and the next and the next and the next and the next. And before you know it, they're operating at a fifth dimensional bandwidth. A lot of people in this chat are already in 5D, consciousness-wise, meaning that you've ascended your consciousness through an out-of-body experience. Maybe the whole universe was shown to you through a walk-in, through a Kundalini experience, through a twin flame dynamic, but that doesn't mean that your physical body is oscillating at a fifth dimensional speed. It just means that you've already seen what the universe has to show you. You've already unlocked most of the secrets. But now your physical body has to adapt to that frequency, meaning that your DNA has to go through an entire overhaul. It's like an extreme makeover. Your DNA, the cells in your body have to reconfigure. They have to reform themselves. And your body is going to start upping in frequency and increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing. So It doesn't matter how adept you are when it comes to working with your imagination. If your physical body is only functioning within a fourth density framework or within a third density framework, that manifestation is not going to come alive right away. It's going to take time. The little girl who's 5 years old, spiritually, she's probably a soul who's been here before, and she's like, okay, let's just get back to the good stuff. Let me become an adult again. So spiritually, she's already seen, I want to have boobs and I want to grow up. But physically, she has to go through that transformation. So that's not going to happen overnight. So I hope that helps you guys. So again, if we were granted the ability to instantly manifest, most of us would be dead already. I know I had depressive nights where things were dreary and things were depressive. And I was like, I quit. Boop! I would have popped out of this reality just like that. But we knew that we would have all these thoughts. So what we did is we sectioned it. You get it? We had to section it because we knew that if we have a negative thought, that's not really the truth of who we are. So what God did, us, we are God. We all together have created this reality. What God did was, okay, if you have a judgmental thought, or if you make a mistake, or if you have a negative thought, we're going to give you some wiggle room to clear that, to choose another perspective, or to choose another thought. So we knew this coming into this, that we would forget who we are. There would be a veil of forgetfulness, a veil of amnesia, and it would take a while for us to reconnect to the truth of who we are. So we had to set it up that way. We also knew that the higher that we would vibrate, then we would get to experience heaven on earth, which is New Earth, 5D. So I love you guys so much. And if you haven't subscribed, my face is about to pop up on the screen. So please click that. Thank you guys for commenting. Oh, thank you, MX. Thank you, Christian, for $111 and 11. I appreciate you so much. It's very generous of you. Thank you, Drusilla Morello. Thank you, Jessica Hodges, for your donation. Thank you to Andrea. And thank you to Yesikins. You guys are so generous. I love you so much. I loved being on this journey with you guys. It's amazing. So Feel Good, aka Mr. Dot, checking out. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in another version of the Now.